Another weekend to remember for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, which landed for the third consecutive year at the Hungaroring for round 4 of the 2024 season. With such a strong passion for motorsport in Hungary, the event brought with it a significant number of fans to the track who would celebrate and cheer on the 32 drivers who would take to the circuit in the series promoted by ACI Sport and Alpine Racing. The Hungarian circuit has become famous worldwide for hosting the Grand Prix over the last few decades, and the drivers' first chance to get to grips with the 4.3-kilometre layout came on Thursday with the first pre-event collective tests. The quickest to get to grips with it would be Taponen in the first session and Brando Badua in the second, paving the way for what would undoubtedly remain a weekend well remembered by these two young talents. Regarding the future stars of motorsport, the reigning F1 Academy champion Marta Garcia was awarded the prestigious Pirelli Resilience Award for Zandvoort after charges through the field in both races. The Spaniard demonstrated her extraordinary skill by recovering 7 positions in the first race and 9 in the second, starting from the last row of the grid. An exceptional performance from the Iron Dames team representative in the third round, which allowed her to take the lead in the Pirelli standings.
Yeah, obviously we had really bad qualifying because we were starting actually last, I think, in the 2 races. But yeah, I think the racetrack was really good. Obviously, I think we ended up like P20, P21, something like that. So yeah, obviously happy with that. You know, Zandvoort is a really tricky track where it's quite difficult to overtake. So being able to get 9-10 positions was quite good.
The first official session on Saturday took place on a wet track, with the rain significantly lowering the high track temperatures from the previous sessions, making for a tough challenge ahead. On track, it was Taponen who navigated the challenges the best to claim his first pole position of the season with a best time of a 1 minute 57.184 in one of few moments when the rain was less intense. The weather conditions forced race direction to display red flags at the start of the first session for several minutes. After the marshal's intervention to clear water from the most critical points, the Group A session took to the track, putting on a show with the drivers quite literally dancing over the wet surface. The first to stand out were Prema Racing's Rafa Kamara and Ugo Ugachukwu, who alternated at the top of the timesheets. Rookie points leader Evan Gilter then took the spotlight, with the rain returning heavily in the meantime. These conditions did not deter Alessandro Giusti, who, driving another ART Grand Prix car, took the provisional lead, overtaking teammate Gilter. However, the decisive blow was struck by Zach David, who set the fastest time at the end of the session, leaving Giusti and Gilter in second and third respectively, with Kamara and Ugachukwu's cars in fourth and fifth. An excellent result for the R-Race GP team, who put their cars on the first row of the grid for race 1.
No, we are very happy obviously for this qualifying this morning. We had quite a challenging start of the season so far, so we are happy that we do the first pole for the team this year. We knew the beginning of the season might be difficult with having 3 rookies, even though we believe we have very good rookies. We are very happy with the driver lineup we have, but we knew that in the way to adapt to the circumstances, having rookies could be a bit difficult at the start of the season, so we are happy with the result today.
Taponen showed excellent pace in Group B, where Badua also contended for pole position. The Italian driver, who temporarily led his group standings, finished the session behind the Ferrari Driver Academy member, securing the second row alongside Giusti.
Honestly, there was a coming bit better lap on the last push before it started to rain more. but I spun on that lap on the third sector, so I was a bit frustrated because I did that. So I didn't expect to do a pole position, honestly, but I think the car was just on the window and everything was as it should be to do a pole position. So I managed to do it, and I was really happy. It's the first overall pole position as well in Freca.
4 out of 6 and is yet to appear outside of the top 2 as now the lights, they light up red. All 5 lights are lit. And it's pedal to the metal. And it is go, 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 go. Great start from Taponen and Zachary David there in second place. The 2 RHGPs bound together. There you can see in the background Brando Bador now looking to go and take an outside line coming through towards turn 1. The Van Amersfoort looking to go for grandeur, much like it has done in the past. Enzo Tellini also getting it wrong as well. A car running off wide. Now, if I'm not mistaken, is that is the Van Amersfoort. Unfortunately for Brando Bador, running out wide, extending through turn 1. There's a cluster of cars that are making their way through turn 3. Tellini being met with Alessandro Giusti. Enzo Peugeot just behind Tellini. I must say, despite the moment coming through turn 1, didn't have a bad start at all. Evan Gilter further back then down in 7th, but it is still Tucker Taponen. He's tapping on here at the start of this race with Zachary David there in second place, with Brando Bador there in third, with Enzo Tellini in fourth place. Alessandro Giusti now forms up in fifth. Once again defending. Got to factor in Tellini in all this. RHGP, first, second and fourth in this timing tower as what looks to be, I think that was Lecorte, who was tried going down the inside in a very aggressive motion, trying to unseat, I think, Pedro Clero on the run down through towards turn 2. They're going to run wheel to wheel again. A lock-up on the left-hand side there. And I must say, doing very well did Pedro Clero to avoid that. And indeed, the 22 carries on through. Nova Stromstead, as now we see once again James Wharton attacking Enzo Peugeot, and he'll get the run, I think, coming out of turn 1. He has his nose in front, the car most definitely in front, but certainly Peugeot is not afraid of sending it up the inside. He's going to try and delay the braking, coming through turn 2, round towards turn 3. Enzo Peugeot, daring defensive effort there on his behalf, managing to thwart James Wharton at every move. The way racing was undertaken in the past is now James Wharton up the inside of Enzo Peugeot, and surely Peugeot is going to get the switchback coming out of turn 1, and he certainly will do, and hold position. But James Wharton feeling that he had no choice but to force something, and again a switchback heading through towards turn 2. This time he's trying to squeeze and find every gap possible, but Enzo Peugeot, defensive masterclass once again from the young Frenchman, and has kept James Wharton at bay. It was a fantastic effort by Wharton. I do not... Kamara very close to getting a lovely exit too, so if he gets to the toe, and he does break to the inside, this time of Evan Gilter, so surely this has definitely been Kamara's best chance of the race so far. A lock-up from Brando Bador further up the order, but Rafael Kamara, the brilliant Brazilian, finally managing to find his way through. Several cars further back, we see a Sansalot car just drifting out wide as they rush down through towards turn 1. That is the 22 of Pedro Clero, while Matteo De Paolo, he's going to try and hang it around the outside coming through turn 1, but drifts out wide, just not enough room to make that move happen, but might get a decent run. Again, Enzo Peugeot defending again, but just look at Pedro Clero aggressively haunting on the back of Matteo De Paolo. Santalok have got all their defensive shields up at this point. And then it would lead to a victory, his first win of the season, his first win in Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, as once again Pedro Clero goes on at the attack. Wheel to wheel, they're going to go. Goodness me. Zachary David, I should say, is Brando Bador, not Pedro Clero. Opening up now for Enzo Tellini. Things are kicking off now in the final minutes of this race. And now running out wide is Brando Bador. They came together coming out of the middle sector. Zachary David, I tell you what, there was every possibility that he was going to lose out. Brando Bador once again extending off track. Very conscious now, as now on the attack comes Alessandro Giusti. Goodness me, up the inside at turn 13. They got the run up through towards turn 12. Still Zachary David somehow, some way, holding on to second place, keeping what looks to be Brando Bador in behind. There is GSD as well, running wheel to wheel with Enzo Dellini. Welcome in as well, Rafael Camara. The man who has taken 4 wins in the last 6 races is now on the attack. Cutting him off is Dellini as well, as Camara gets a great run, heading in towards turn 1. Runs wheel to wheel. Ferrari Junior versus Red Bull Junior on the escape now through towards turn 2. Still at this stage, it's going to be Camara who has the inside line coming through this time. But now Dellini with a lockup of the rear wheels. Surely he's going to lose out. He has lost out. Camara, the brilliance of this young Brazilian, extends once more in the closing stages here at Hungary. Didn't have the ideal qualifying session, his worst of the season, but he has managed to claw his way further up this field. Incredible moment, just getting onto the curb. Oh, wow, okay. Well, that is the number 2 belonging to Matteo De Paulo, who was spun off at the side of turn 2. There was the car that just got on the curb just behind it, and unfortunately, but Tuka Taponen has tapped back yet again, this time at Hungaroring. It's his 2nd win of the season. Zachary David makes it an RSGP 1-2 on the podium, with Brando Bador in 3rd place. Rafael Camara across the line in a stellar drive to finish in 4th.
After the race was complete, Zach David received 2 5-second penalties to add to his race time. The first for a manoeuvre for pushing Badua off track at turn 9 whilst trying to maintain position. The second for jumping the start. These decisions relegated him to 7th place. Badua secured 2nd place, confirming his excellent form in this championship phase. Rafael Camara earned the 3rd step on the podium, climbing from 8th position after exciting duels, including one with Gilter, who finished 5th and received the highest rookie points, maintaining his lead in the rookie standings. This result came to the Frenchman after 2 penalties were handed to Enzo Dellini. Another 10 seconds were added for the Red Bull Academy driver, who was penalised for his battles with Camara and Giusti. Consequently, the 4th place went to the latter, securing crucial points. James Wharton also benefited, finishing 6th after the classification changes, while Ugo Chukwu, Ricky Liu and Ivan Dominguez completed the top 10. As the roar of the engines subsided, the Santalok racing team faced disqualification for a breach of the technical regulation on all 3 of its cars. In light of these developments, Santalok Racing has announced its intention to appeal the disqualification decision of Enzo Peugeot's car. As a result, the final standings are subject to the outcome of the appeal by the French team.
It was a race as I wanted, as I told before. Just need to have a clean start, good start. That's what I did, and then after I was just managing the speed and controlling the gap to the back.
Taponen proved unstoppable at the Hungaroring in the 2nd qualifying session, setting the fastest lap for a 2nd consecutive time to secure another pole position following his Saturday victory. Action on track was also plentiful in Group A, with the spotlight on Prema Racing's Camara and Ugo Chukwu. The latter initially led the way, driving the Papaya livery number 3 car, but he eventually conceded to the Brazilian, who set the fastest time, just 600ths of Taponen.
Yeah, I did. Honestly, didn't expect that. The speed has been good, but it hasn't been that good. But I managed to put all together, and the car was the best we had so far this weekend. So it was definitely really satisfying to be on pole, and I'm really happy again to start from the pole.
Yeah, I mean, I think the start of the weekend was not the best yesterday, but then we managed well to recover in the race. Even if it's a very difficult track to overtake, but we still managed to do some, so it was very good. And then I think today we're back where we should be. And yeah, I think we just kept working hard, doing what we know to do, and I think we're strong again and ready to fight for the race.
He took pole nonetheless, but he's got the brilliant Brazilian Rafael Camara alongside him. Championship leader on the left of your screen. On the right, the man in P2. All 5 lights are lit, and it's pedal to the metal. And it is go, 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 go. Great start from Tuka Taponen. Covers off Rafael Camara instantly and straight away. Brando Badur also now looking to try and take an opportunity. Ugo Chukwu in the McLaren livery down the inside as well. Camara meeting Tuka Taponen with every toe coming through turn 1 as they look to make their way down through towards turn 2. This time, a chance here for Ugo Chukwu to brandish his Prema into this P1 fight. Still though, it's Taponen who leads the way alongside wheel to wheel. We've got a spinner further back, I think, as well. Not quite sure who that was, but a sea of cars coming through out of turn 2. Many of them running wide, and RPM running wide of them all there, coming through out of turn 2, out of turn 3, through towards turn 4. Ugo Chukwu up into second place. He's had a fantastic start and looks to consolidate up at the front. Movements further back as we now see the 22 of Pedro Clero going in on the attack. It looks like one of the ARTs running off wide. That's Alessandro Giusti, who has had to cut away coming out of turn 7. The first race of the weekend. Of course, Taponen would go on to take victory there too. Oh, very wide there from the Santaloc. That's the number 2 belonging to Matteo De Palo, just running a little wide. Teofil Nile, his teammate. Oh, we've got a big crash there. I'm not sure quite what happened now. That looks like Nico Lacorte on the right, if I'm not mistaken. A familiar looking Alpine livery, and if I'm not mistaken too, is that a looked like it might have been an R race as well. Safety car has been deployed. So incident between cars 23. As we now take a look, yes, it was Nico Lacorte, and that's Marta Garcia, who's on his outside. Wow, she had a bit of elevation coming through and ultimately hitting the barrier. So Marta Garcia in car 19. So obviously the other instance I was alluding to was something totally separate, but it does look like the number 7 of Nico Lacorte coming together with Marta Garcia, and therefore crashing out into the barriers heading around turn 2. So that will be neutralised at this stage as they now catch up with the safety car. Another car off at the side. That's the 11 of Isaac Barashi, and for a first weekend in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, I'm sure this is not one to remember on his part. Didn't have the easiest of qualifying sessions and now sees himself out of the race by the looks of it at this stage. Look at that rear right on the MP Motorsport of Isaac Barashi. Clear suspension damage in the rear right. Not quite sure what's triggered that, but maybe some contact with a car right at the tail end of the field. But there is Isaac out to the car. The marshal's just surveying the situation to get back underway. Now, who's going to get a better run out of the final corner before venturing through towards turn 1? There is Taponen, there is Ugo Chukwu, Camara, then Badur, with Delaney not getting the best of getaways and could yet be at the mercy here of James Wharton. We do have the 2 Santlocks coming together as now Enzo Delaney tries to defend the place. In comes Rafael Camara at the inside of Ugo Chukwu coming through towards turn 1. The 2 Prema drivers, teammates, coming together on the run out of turn 1 and now heading down towards turn 2. Brando Badur has taken P3 and has relegated Ugo Chukwu down 2 places as a consequence. Camara went for it, he took it, he got it, and now his teammate is languishing 2 places further back behind him as they now climb up through towards turn 4. Taponen leads, Camara now in second, Badur now in 3rd place. Ugo Chukwu looking to try and recover with James Wharton, who did manage to make the move on Enzo Delaney. We then have Delaney under pressure again. In comes Alessandro Giusti as they come through turn 6 and 7. Brilliant from Giusti, who now takes P6 away, and the Red Bull Academy driver at the mercy of the Williams Academy driver coming through the 2nd into the 3rd sector. Fabulous display at the restart. Relegating the United States driver, the McLaren Academy driver, down into 4th, as now we see again yet more battling further back. Michael Belov in the heart of all of it. Zachary David looking to get a decent run, and look at this, Matteo De Palo coming unstuck now as they look to go wheel to wheel. It looks like Belov might have his number as they come through turn 2, getting it wrong slightly as they head through. Matteo De Palo doing well to rescue it somewhat, was very late on the brakes, and Michael Belov having to renege at this point, but has got obviously Zachary David that he needs to be concerned about in behind him right now. They'll scoot through turn 4 as we now venture onto the final lap of the race here at Hungaroring, and Tuukka Taponen is clocking out with the fastest lap of the race here on this occasion to the Ferrari Academy driver representing the Prancing Horses, is prancing on, looking to become a 2-time race winner at Hungaroring, following in the footsteps of fellow R-Race driver from last season, Martinius Stenshorn, who took victory in race 1 and race 2 alike. And I can only imagine that Thibaut, their team boss, is going to be absolutely thrilled with this result once more, finishing ahead of their rivals, Prema, who is sitting in second with Kamara at the wheel. Let's take a look at this moment as well. Goodness me, now that's Laroslav Vasalaho, the Ukrainian, now levied to the tail end of the field. And last of the running cars alike, but Tuukka Taponen, truly unrivaled this weekend. It all started after obtaining pole position in truly unfathomable conditions. And when we talk about versatility in terms of single-seater talents, Taponen has it all. He makes his way out of turn 11 through towards turn 12. A trip then heading up towards turn 13. There he is right now, ahead of Rafael Kamara, the Brazilian who gave it his all, managed to scoop up P2 away from his teammate Ugo Chukwu, losing out as a consequence. But on this occasion, if you want to win, you must hire a Finn, and Tuukka Taponen will successfully provide the double tap for our race GP. It's a victory in race 2 to follow suit from race 1. Can he, by chance, take the championship? We are only at the midway point, and I must say, it's getting closer between he and Kamara. Rafael Kamara will finish in second, Brando Bador in third, Ugo Chukwu comes home in fourth, James Wharton in fifth, Alessandro Giusti in sixth.
Classification changes also occurred after the weekend's final race, starting with Kamara, who finished second but received a 5-second penalty for turn 1 contact with teammate Ugo Chukwu after a safety car restart. The incident saw Ugo Chukwu lose 2 positions, but Kamara's penalty, relegating him to 6th, allowed the American to secure 3rd place and his first podium. Badua benefited from this, jumping up to 2nd place, returning home with 2 silver medals. After the neutralisation, another Prema driver, James Wharton, made 2 overtakes, propelling him to 4th place. Giusti slipped to 7th after a 2-place penalty for contact with Deligny in a heated race moment, but still managed to stay in the points places.
I mean, it was a perfect weekend. 2 pole positions, 2 race wins. It's the maximum we can do, and obviously we have made a really good step since at the beginning of the season. So we have done some good improvements to the car, as well as I have a bit more experience. But I think the car was mega good this weekend, and we need to keep going like that and focus on the next race.
I'm feeling quite good. I mean, it's been a pretty solid weekend. I've jumped in the podium in the last 3 races. So yeah, I feel in a good moment. I'm learning a lot, and I'm starting to be consistent and applying what I learn quite well. And it has been a intense race, I would say. I didn't start very well. I was before after the start. Had some fights, but couldn't get back my positions until the restarts, where Rafa and Ugo had a small collision, so I got the opportunity to pass one of them and finish on the podium. So
the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine will now head to the Mugello circuit in Italy for round 5 as we reach the mid-season point. We will see you in Italy. Ciao.